Hey, Chief here, and today I have another thought. Today I was thinking about the youth and how we judge them, especially black youth. Um, and I'm going to put it in contact with the music, because I think when we're judging the music, we're actually judging the youth. We're attempting to, get the youth to understand that the music that they may be creating is deleterious to their society, and for some reason, the music is the one creating the problems in our community, which I think is just a way to pass the buck and to criticize a generation of kids that our community didn't raise. I understand that there's a lot of personal responsibility in this, and that a lot of the problems in our community could be, you could find the white supremacy link to it, and actually it'd be closer than you think. But at the same time, we have to understand that a lot of these kids who we're judging, we didn't raise them. We put them in schools that were racist and who were filled with eugenicists trying to fuck them. We put them, or fuck them, or miseducate them, or put them on a pathway to the prison system. We didn't build any institutions. We sold out to the corporations a long, long time ago. And we just decided that leave our kids in the hands of the government. And when they become disenchanted and want to get out there, how they feel through the music, we again judge them like their violence. The violence is coming from the music. Our community has been vice-filled for a while. Like, listen to Malcolm X and others talk about what our community used to do, on Fridays and Saturday nights and on the weekends. Malcolm X will tell you we did a lot of stabbing and shooting each other. And Malcolm X lived in the 60s, probably the greatest time for black music, arguably, where they weren't talking about killing and shooting and all that shit as much. But it was still going on in our community. So was dope dealing and dope selling, or dope using, drug using, and alcohol abuse. It's not, we're acting like the music or the youth are responsible for the things in our community, and it's the adults who aren't raising them, or our society's not building the institutions that will make sure that our kids have a stronger foundation in their history and who they are, and take more pride in their actions and the decorum. I understand every community is going to have some knuckleheads. There's no way we're going to clean up all the wild cards in our community. And every community has them. Ours are just always on display more. But I think for us to judge them, especially for those who are, trying to find an outlet that will monetize what they do, or monetize themselves, so they don't have to endure, the white supremacist society. Even though I know people would argue that the music that they're making is actually, indicative of that society. I guess it's circular, but, I don't think we can judge them for it. I don't think we've earned the right to. We just haven't. We've miseducated them, and we have allowed them to be. We have to take way more personal responsibility for what's going on with our youth, because they should be being educated by parents who are smart enough to know to help them with the homework that they're coming home. Everyone in our community should be intelligent enough to teach our kids the ABCs and the timetables before they're in kindergarten and preschool, before it. So they have a stronger foundation of the language. They should actually even be trying to learn how to read before they even get into kindergarten. These are all things that we can do and are based upon our own will and ability. For anyone to say that we can't educate our youth or that we need to change the curriculum or anything like that, I think that is somebody who doesn't have any faith, and they're actually the white supremacists. Because my son will bring home some homework on like Frederick Douglass or somebody, and I can tell him about Frederick Douglass and what happened, and I can tell him some other history around Frederick Douglass and who Frederick Douglass was connected to and all this shit. And then he can take that back to his school and impress his whole fucking class and his teacher. And if they got some shit to say about the knowledge my son brings to them, they can talk to their father. You know? I just, you know, and I think being a father too makes me understand that, even though my lady, you know, she was the one responsible for teaching him as the first teacher because I was working all the time. I helped reinforce all of it, and I'm the one who put it in motion and made sure it had to happen. So I think we do need the men actually to take the mantle in our community and actually be more involved in educating the youth. Because our kids are actually being, you know, educated not just in how to not think, they're also being educated on how to behave horribly, how to be super emotional, how to be, you know, reckless, how to not think about the consequences of the things that you do or say. And that's, you know, that comes with someone in the home who can discipline them and help them understand that there's things in this world that you need to figure out quickly so that you can survive, especially as a young black youth. And one way we're not doing it is by keeping them in these institutions that are just, you know, nothing. They're just terrible factories that are producing moronic children, and that's even the ones who aren't on the streets or trying to do be, you know, trap rappers or fucking, I don't know what the fuck. You know, that's even for the kids who are making it through high school and going to college. They're just being easily amenable to this communist indoctrination, and they're trying to force it on the world based upon a history, you know, that a lot of them aren't even connected to. And that's the foundation of Black Americans. They're connected to the history. But a lot of the people who are espousing a lot of the communist nonsense aren't, you know, don't have any history with this country at all. So I think those are, you know, things we need to address. That's also something we need to address in our community. We gotta either be the only black people, foundation of Black Americans, or we have to find another term for ourselves, and everybody else can keep black, which I would actually suggest. But, you know, I understand that would make me be a coon nigga, even though we've only been calling ourselves black for like, I don't know, we just gotta listen to everything they call us. It's crazy, and it is just to cause confusion and to group us with tribes that aren't fucking with us. You know, and that's why they're able to miseducate our kids in the classrooms, because they're able to make the black quotas, and all the foundation of Black Americans kids are, you know, just the ones who didn't make it. They have the low test scores, you know, they have the lowest test scores. So I get the fuck out of here. You know, that's not the reason why they're not letting foundation of Black American kids in college, because they know that if they get a hold of the knowledge, they may you know, act like me. You know what I'm saying? And be unabashed about throwing that knowledge back in their face and actually making them feel you know, moronic for actually trying to judge black people based upon our incidents and based upon stereotypes that were created by people who frankly just hate us, spiritually and physically. And then we're putting these people in the hands of our youth, and then we're wondering why these niggas is rapping about crazy shit and, you know, all this dumb shit. You know, and then when one of their friends or somebody passes and they're mourning it, we're like, man, that's like, you know, that's par for the course, you know? And I think it's sad. I think we need to definitely figure it out, but it's up to us. It's not up to the kids to figure it out. And judging them and being harsh on them, especially if you're not involved with them, if you don't know them, if you don't even try to speak to them, because a lot of these little niggas are hella smart. They obviously know how to make money. We just have to direct them in the right way, and the worst way to do that, especially for kids, is to criticize them. They're going to go 10 times harder, because a lot of kids, I've noticed some kids are just natural contrarians. They naturally want to shirk authority. They just naturally want to, you know, challenge and put their mark on the world. But for us to judge them for that is, you know, it's just not fair. I think it's not fair. I think it may be apt because maybe they do need to know that there's people out there who feel a certain way about what's being created and what's going on and what's being accepted in our community. But it's always up, and also it's up to us to create the counter narratives and make sure the counter narratives aren't buried by this one, where our youth are being judged so harshly and they're actually being used to, you know, kind of blanket our whole community, which I don't think is fair. But at the same time, there are youth in our community, and I know that's a way for, you know, the suspected white supremacists and all their PLC flunkies to, you know, criticize all black folks, and that's how it's used. But it's only because we don't have the counter narrative to judge the terrible kids in their community, you know, and everything that's going on with them. We just have to accept it because we're the ones operating in a space where we can't even decide our fucking what we call ourselves. We gotta call ourselves black. Otherwise, you know, everybody's gonna say, "What the fuck you talking about?" You know, or, you know, everybody's gonna judge you for it. You know, but we definitely need to work on that. That's something that's gonna help us out a lot once we figure that out. But I don't know where the fuck I'm going with this. Stop judging the kids, all right? We should judge ourselves. Anyway, that's my thought of the day.